Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you very, very much for the invitation here today. It's lovely to be here and to talk about pathology. So I'm Jo. I'm a professor of pathology at Queen Mary University. I'm an honorary consultant histopathologist at Barts Health NHS Trust here in sunny Whitechapel. Not so sunny today, but I'm also very privileged to be the president of the Royal College of Pathologists. And this morning, I'm going to tell you all about what we've been doing during COVID, tackling COVID from very much the front line of pathology. Pathology and pathologists will look after you for the whole of your life. So they'll screen you at 6 weeks of age for a range of metabolic disorders and look after you through life, through testing, through diagnosis and through patient care. And they'll also perform autopsies after you're died. In fact, thinking about it, pathologists also look after you before you're even conceived, not just through keeping parents healthy, but also through reproductive scientists who help with in vitro fertilization, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis also. So they help with assisted conception. So pathologists actually are with you for your entire journey as an organism. So there's lots of us, and we come in lots of different species. We come as, I've mentioned reproductive scientists, I've mentioned genetics, but the ones who've been particularly involved with the COVID epidemic have been colleagues in clinical biochemistry, who look at body fluids, who look at all the enzymes, the proteins in your blood and other body fluids. The virologists, obviously, who are at the forefront of tracking down the virus, diagnosing it and helping care for those with COVID. Similarly with their microbiology and infectious disease colleagues. They are the group. The other group of pathologists who've been intimately involved with this particular virus have been the immunologists. You'll have seen lots in the news about antibody testing and about the immune response to COVID. And the immunologists have been battling not only with patients who've developed very severe COVID and who have developed what's been called the cytokine storm, where you get a dysregulation of the immune system, but also with the immune responses to it afterwards. The cytokine storm's been very interesting, and the immunology colleagues who've been dealing with it have learnt a lot from other situations where hemophagocytic syndrome and lots of conditions with very long words, who they've been using learning from that to translate into the care of patients with COVID. And a lot of that learning has helped decrease the morbidity and the mortality. You'll have seen the dexamethasone recovery trial results, which is one of the few effective therapies for COVID, and that's been a combination between our microbiology, virology colleagues and the immunologists also. The other area of pathology and pathology practice that's been particularly involved in the COVID work has been the haematologists. So you may be aware that patients with COVID can develop thromboses. That's little clots in both arteries and veins in this condition, and in the lungs also. And they've been particularly involved in caring for patients with those conditions, and also in devising preventive strategies for the condition. Our toxicologists have been involved in drug trials and in looking at new ways of repurposing drugs, and our geneticists have been looking at tracking down the genetic profile of the virus so you can follow the virus through different areas of the country. You can find out where the virus is and where it's come from based on its genetic signature. So huge amounts. Our molecular pathologists similarly working alongside all our other colleagues. Our paediatric pathologists, neuropathologists. This condition, this COVID, has thrown up all sorts of really fascinating elements that have needed looking after. So the Kawasaki type disease that you see in children, the neurological complications that we see are very commonly in this condition as well. So all my colleagues have been working flat out to help with this particular condition, and then you'll see the viral detection, the vaccine involvement, the responses, the monitoring have all been an absolute credit to the pathologists. I would hugely encourage you to consider a career in pathology. As I say, we've got 17 different versions to choose from, all of which are particularly fabulous. And I don't think I've met anybody who has regretted a career in it. I learn something new every day. I have a fantastic team of colleagues. We work with scientists, we work with medics, we work with biomedical scientists, we work with colleagues all over the hospital, in community, but we also have great relationships with across all our disciplines too. Patient care is at our absolute heart. I've been out in care homes this morning looking at a testing regime in care home residents and staff that might be possible of producing a very, very rapid test regime, so 30 minutes to a result. And you can see how that might help change healthcare, not only for those in hospitals, but also those in the community. So we do lots and lots of research, we do lots of education as well, and it's huge fun. So I can only recommend go and find a local pathologist. They would love to see you. Go and speak with your clinical scientist colleagues. Go and find a biomedical scientist. Go and say hello and learn a little bit more of what we do. It's huge fun and it's really important, and it is a great career. So welcome to the world of pathology. Lots more on the Royal College of Pathologists website to have a look at, and that will be lots of careers advice on there as well. So thank you very much for listening, and I wish you all a very good rest of the day.